Hello everybody, welcome to Dakman Productions and welcome to Conrail. And we are yet on another edition of a Conrail video. So today, what do we have? So I don't know if you guys watch a show called The Train Shop Weekly, sponsored by Hennings. It is a great show. And it's done by a local hobby shop to me, Hennings Trains in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, 121 Line Street. So if you're in that area, make sure you stop by Hennings Trains and you'll see the Train Shop Weekly with Harry Henning III, Bill Henning, and Walter Herbine. It's a family-owned shop, and I gotta tell you, Harry Henning knows his steam locomotives. He blows me away with a lot of information. I learned, because I'm a diesel locomotive guy. I'm a diesel guy, so I don't know anything about steam, so he teaches me here and there, and wow, the amount of stuff that he knows. And even when they host their show, he'll spit out information. Oh yeah, this train ran here and was in this area and this time period. And sometimes either Bill Henning or Walter Herbine will challenge him and say, nah, that can't be. And come to find out, he was 100% right. The amount of stuff that guy knows. So I picked this up while I was on the show. I was actually on the show a couple weeks ago, the Train Shop Weekly. I'll put a link to that show in this video. And I did not want to put this video out until they put their video out. So I waited for them to put their video out. And on that show, we also talk about and go over the Lionel Catalog for the second part of 2023, Volume 2 Catalog. So if you want to see our input on that, you can check out the Train Shop Weekly show. Again, the link will be in the bottom of the description of the bottom of this video. And I'm not going to go into the Lionel Trains catalog in this video because I've already done it on the Train Shop Weekly. And so check that out. It was very interesting. So for those who did watch the show, you'll see that I actually picked up, they just got it in that day too. They just got it in the day that we filmed. And I picked up this Conrail 60-foot box car. And we're going to open up and take a better look at it. Now, the one thing we did notice on the show is the fact that Lionel, actually, they doubled up on their packaging. Now, we were talking about that on the show. We didn't know if that was accidental or if they did this to help reduce the breakage, because I have received these new Lionel. Lionel used to be packed in styrofoam, and they went to these plastic packaging. And I noticed a few of them, or a couple of them, I have received the plastic was all busted up from rough shipping. So maybe they doubled it up, and even the bottom is doubled up. You'll see here there's two of them here. And if Lionel was watching this, if he did this purposely to help protect it, it worked. I think it's a good idea to double up on it like this, and it really did make a difference. So there's not even a crack or nothing. It held up really well in shipping. So Lionel, my suggestion to you is keep doing what you're doing here. This is a big improvement by doubling up everything. I know it's a little bit more costly. We understand that, and we appreciate you trying to make sure that the product we buy is arriving without any damage to it. So let me open this up here, and we'll take a look, and then we'll put it on the track and talk about it. Now, for those of you, well, I'll get into that in a minute here. Oh man, this is beautiful. So here it is, the Lionel Conrail with the yellow veterans ribbon on it. This is an LED flag. The LEDs light up We explained on the show that you do have to have, the lights turned out in order to see it properly. But still, all in all, it's a cool piece. Now, this boxcar, I did announce it on the show, and I'll announce it here on this video too. This boxcar is the match for the new Lionel Conrail SD50 with the yellow veterans ribbon on it. So you'll notice the number on the boxcar is 6707. That's the same exact number that's on the locomotive, 6707. So this is the match for that locomotive. So if you're a Conrail person, make sure you grab this, because they didn't make many of these. I'm not sure exactly how many, but they're very limited. And again, this is to match that locomotive. Now this is a pure fantasy piece. Lionel or Conrail never had a car like this with a lighted illuminated flag, and they never made a rail car with the same number as the locomotive and with the yellow ribbon on it. So when people see my review videos on Conrail, one of the things I always do is I review it and talk about if it's prototypical and how close to the prototypical car that it is. Sorry, I'm stumbling a little tonight. And some people get the wrong idea that that's all I want and all I buy is prototypical cars, and that's not true at all. I do buy fantasy stuff, and this is a cool fantasy piece. I love it. And it's total fantasy. Conrail never did this. And it's beautiful. I just love it. And this is not my first fantasy piece. For those who have been watching me for a while know that when I was a kid, I grew up during the Lionel MPC era. And none of that's prototypical. I mean, they used the stock number on 99% of their trains as the road number. So when I went to pick out trains that I wanted for as a kid for my MPC era, I wasn't picking out stuff that was prototypical. I would pick out stuff that I thought was a cool color and just a cool color combination. And that's how I would pick out my trains. And but yeah, a lot of my stuff is prototypical, but there are some fantasy pieces that I own. Let me give you an example real quick. So I have these Conrail 4-bay coal hoppers. I have 2 6-car sets of these. And for the fans who've been watching me know that I love running my coal drag. I have a 50-car coal drag. It's a mix of coal hoppers and coal porters. But for those who know Conrail, know that Conrail never really had 4-bay hopper cars. They were all 3-bay. So the 4-bay hopper cars are technically, even though they have the correct road numbers on them, they're still technically fantasy. Here we have a MTH Conrail gondola in blue. Conrail never had blue gondolas, but again, it's still a cool piece. If you remember watching my $55 eBay gamble, you'll notice that I got a blue Conrail center flow. Again, Conrail did not have blue center flows. But I just wanted to show you that I do buy fantasy pieces. So let's get back to the Train Shop Weekly show. I've seen complaints on Facebook and online of people saying, hey, the Lionel dealers don't talk about the problems that Lionel have. That's not 100% true at all. Henning's Trains, the Train Shop Weekly, they do talk about the problems if there are any, and they'll let you know it. They give you 100% honest review of what they think, and they'll let you know if they personally don't like it or if they like it. If there's any known issues with anything that they're showing, they'll talk about that. And they actually had, I believe it was a veranda when a brand new Lionel veranda, when it first came out a few months back, that the smoke unit burned up right up on the show, and they did mention that in their on their show, how they had sent it back to Lionel. So they do talk about problems and issues, because nothing's perfect, and everybody's going to have issues here and there, and it's unfortunate, but it does happen, and it's not just O-Gauge. I've seen HO manufacturers such as Scale Trains having issues right out of the production factory, and they had to send stuff back. So it's just not O-Gauges, and it's just not Lionel. It's all across the board, trust me. It is. And so these manufacturers here, such as Lionel, MTH, the HO manufacturers, such as Scale Trains, Athearn, they have to fight the factories that are producing them, saying, hey, you got to make this right. And sometimes it's very costly, very costly. Matter of fact, Scale Trains, that's primarily an HO manufacturer, received a batch of HO scale tank cars that all had paint blemishes on them. And it would have been too costly to send them back and have them repainted, so they heavily discounted them as projects for people who like the weather. And it was a perfect starting point for somebody who wanted to weather a car. So it was a win-win in the end. But the point is that there's problems across the board. One last thing about Hennings Trains is that they do test their locomotives before they sell them to you to make sure that they're in proper working order. So when you go to buy that locomotive, you're not taking it home and taking it out of the box and putting it on a track and it doesn't run. So they're trying to eliminate as many disappointments as they can. But as they said, that's no guarantee that something won't happen 3 or 4 months later down the road. I mean, you do get faulty smoke units, you do get a bad motor here or there that wasn't manufactured quite right, or a board that wasn't manufactured right. It happens with all scales, all brands. So, I just wanted to put that out there. Alright, so let's get this on the track, and we'll take a better look at it. Okay, we have the Lionel Conrail Veterans Flag Boxcar out of the box. It is product number 2226850, and it is a 60-foot boxcar. Like I said earlier in the video, the boxcar is supposed to be a match for the locomotive, which is also number 6707. I don't know, people are going to ask, doesn't it bother you to have the same number on a boxcar that it is on the locomotive? Absolutely not. I think it's cool. I think it's a great matching piece for that locomotive that's about to come out. Now, I'm going to wait until I get that locomotive before I explain what the yellow ribbon means. And yes, Conrail really did have an SD50 with the yellow veterans ribbon on it. And again, I'm going to wait until I get that piece before I go into discussion about it, because I want to have it here with this boxcar hooked to it. I think it's just going to be a cool video. I think Lionel did a very, very nice job on this. The blue is so brilliant, and Conrail bright, that Conrail bright blue, and with the white trim and the white steps, they just knocked this out of the park. I just love it. And yeah, the door's open, but you're going to see wires in there, so you really don't want to fool around in there and break stuff. Then you have the white steps and a white brake wheel. It just offsets it. So cool. I just can't tell you enough how I love this car. Got some pretty neat detailing underneath here, as you can see. Brake line piping, so forth and so on. But the way they put the pickup roller reminds me of the MTH caboose with that copper strip on top of the axles like that. Now MTH also made a Conrail SD50 with the Veterans Yellow Ribbon on it as well. But as many of you know, I'm not an MTH DCS person. I like Lionel Legacy and TMCC. But each to their own. So I'm not going to knock the DCS. All I'll say is, you know, you have those who like Ford, those who like Chevy, and those who like Dodge, and those who like Toyota, so forth and so on. Same thing in the world of model trains. You got those who like Lionel, those who like MTH, K-Line, Atlas, so forth and so on. Alright, so let's see if we can apply some power to the track and check out the LEDs. Now once again, so you're not disappointed, this is made in a way that you do need to have a dark atmosphere to see LEDs. Because when everybody thinks of LEDs, they think of these lights that are going to blind you and be cool. And but the way they're made subtle, so you do need to have a dark atmosphere to see them. So here we are, we're in the dark. And as you can see, I'm going to move this camera closer here. You can see the LEDs. I'm not sure exactly how the camcorder is picking them up, but they're actually blue, which matches the blue field of the flag. So it's a cool piece. Now watch what happens when I start applying light. You're going to see these LEDs disappear. Now, once again, I'm not sure how the camera is picking it up, but I can't see the lights now. I'm not sure if the camera is showing the same thing. And but yeah, so you you need to have. So if you get one of these flag cars and you turn the power on, you say, "Oh, it's not working." Make sure you turn the lights off first, because these are actually made to be in a dark area. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Lionel Conrail Veterans Flag boxcar. And if you're a Conrail fan, you better grab yours soon, because they're not going to make another run of these. And you'll be hard pressed to find one to match that yellow ribbon, basically the yellow ribbon SD50 that's coming out. Alright, we'll catch you guys tracks on. Goodbye.